In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the worst fitness lies that I used to believe and how changing my views on these things is what allowed me to get the best results possible. So my intention with this video is to save you a lot of frustration, a lot of time, and most importantly, a lot of mistakes along the way. So I hope this video is valuable for you. The very first lie that I used to believe is free weights are better than machines. So I used to be the type of guy that would do a squat, bench, deadlift all throughout the week. And I remember at the end of the week feeling very fatigued. And that's kind of what I thought was normal. I would be in the gym for about 2 hours per session going through high school, college. I continue to train this way with free weights. Now, the reason why a lot of people believe this is because back in the day, there was a lot of big bodybuilders that would say, yeah, the key to my progress has been, free weights versus machines, etc. And over the years, this has been debunked more and more because even the big guys now use strictly machines over free weights. So this myth is not necessarily true because you can push yourself just as hard on machines as you can in free weights. And in fact, a lot of my results personally have been from machines. And the main reason for that is because machines is, in a way, a much easier way to challenge yourself. There's a lot of things that you're not necessarily worrying about. For example, if you're maxing out on a leg press, you just have to worry about one job, is pressing the weight away from you. If you translate that into a barbell squat, there's a lot more that you need to worry about to stabilize your body. And it becomes in my opinion, a higher risk movement. So a lot of the clients that comes into our program, we put them on machines because they're able to push themselves a lot easier. And obviously you can still get really great results with machines. Doesn't matter if you're using machines or free weights. Now, the second lie that I used to believe is just eat healthy and your body will change. Eating healthy doesn't have a lot to do with changing your muscle to fat ratio because it ultimately comes down to macros, okay? Here's an example. If I just say eat healthy, there's no number attached to that. So if I hit a plateau when it comes to building muscle or when it comes to dropping body fat, there's nothing that I can change because I can't just eat more healthy. That's not a number, okay? Now, a lot of people believe this to be true because it's just an easy way to get started. We've all heard just focus on eating healthy, focus on eating, healthy foods, lower fats, cut carbs, all these blanket statements that don't really give you a whole lot to go off of, but they're usually a form of restriction. And the reason why this doesn't necessarily translate into changing one's muscle to fat ratio is because if you have 2,000 calories coming from fats and 2,000 calories coming from 30% carbs, 25% fats, and the rest coming from carbohydrates, you're going to get a very drastic difference if you're comparing the same person over a period of time. Because the person on the right side who's having 2,000 calories worth of, proteins, carbs, and fats is able to recover from their workouts with their protein, have plenty of energy to hit PRs with their carbohydrates, and optimize their hormones with fats. But again, it makes a lot of sense why a lot of people believe this, and I'm definitely not encouraging anyone not to eat healthy, but I'm telling you, if you care about how your muscle to fat ratio looks and you really want to build like actual muscle, you can't just go based off of eat healthy. It's not a number. It's not something that you can measure. And if you can't measure it, you can't optimize it and track it over a period of time. The third lie that I believed for a while, and this one broke my damn heart when I was just getting started with weightlifting and training, is spot reducing belly fat. You cannot spot reduce body fat. And a lot of people think that they are just 1,000 crunches away from a 6-pack and washboard abs. And the harsh reality of it is that you can do all of the abs that you want, but if your body fat isn't low enough, you will not be able to reveal those abs. Now, There is some truth to the fact that if you have more muscle, you will be able to see your abs, more noticeably. That is 100% true. The abs are just like every other muscle, okay? And we all store body fat differently. A lot of us store body fat in our gut. A lot of us store more body fat in our legs. For me, when I diet, one of the first things that I notice is my pants feel looser because I'm losing a lot of it from my glutes and my hamstrings. And that's why my pants get tighter, but it doesn't necessarily show up the same way on the front side of my body. Now, my arms usually get very lean as well. Because I have a lot of muscle mass on them, and that's the way it's distributed on my body. I can't necessarily control that in any way, but if I focus on building more muscle over time, it is much easier to have the illusion of lower body fat because you have more muscle mass, okay? And that's one of the biggest things a lot of people don't understand about body composition, is that if you spend a lot of time building muscle and you do your very best to diet down and you have a really solid plan, you're following macros, and you'll be able to get a lot leaner at a higher body weight than what you think you need to get to. And I wish, spot reducing body fat was true. And I understand why a lot of people do this. There's a lot of misinformation out there from people who have the fancy Instagram workouts that say get six-pack abs doing this workout. And it's fooled a lot of people into chasing that dream. But the harsh reality of it is if your body fat's too high, your abs are not going to show no matter how many crunches you do. The fourth lie is going to be that there's no such thing as stubborn fat. This is going to ruffle a lot of feathers because you maybe have been trying to get rid of the same 10 to 15 pounds over a period of time. And I have two takes on this. The one take is that this fat might be stubborn because you're just simply not tracking variables and you don't know exactly what's going on. I'll give you an example. There's some people who start off their diet, they lose 20 pounds, and they have around 15 more pounds to lose, and they call this like the stubborn fat layer. But what ends up happening is that their initial strategy was just restriction and a lot of cardio. That's not a strategy, okay? It's basically a dead end street. And once your metabolism adapts to that, you have to go deeper into a cut by restricting calories or doing more cardio. And if it's already something that you can't sustain, it is not going to work out. So people call this stubborn fat because it's so hard to get rid of. However, if you did it the smart way and the efficient way, you would have started with a lot less cardio and a less aggressive calorie cut so that you could have dieted longer, but less in a less intense way. And that would have allowed you the ability to make it through that last 15 pounds. And that's exactly what I've done in my previous fat loss phases. Now, the other side of this is that some people just don't have enough muscle on their frame to look super lean and shredded, okay? And again, like I said, this video might ruffle some feathers. I'm telling you this to save you a lot of frustration and time, because there was a point in time where I would try and diet, and I was very consistent, but I didn't have that lean, shredded look that you can kind of see on my arms right now. And that was because I didn't have enough muscle mass really to cut down to. I didn't have the abdominal muscles that I thought I had to be able to cut down to. So part of it is having enough muscle mass to achieve that look that you're going for. So if you feel like you haven't spent a lot of time building muscle and you feel like you've lost, 20, maybe 30 pounds, but you still feel like there's, a little bit of a gut there that just can't seem to go away, I would argue it's probably best to call it quits on the cut, spend several months, maybe even years building muscle, and once you add more size to your frame and you cut down again, you will look much leaner. I hope this video was helpful. If you want to see more fat loss trainings, click this playlist right here. If you want to see another video or follow for more, please click this other box right here. And if you're looking for one-on-one help, click the link in the bio. We'd be more than happy to coach you. Have a great rest of your day.